All right. Good morning, guys. Happy Thursday. Thanks for tuning in to Chopper History today. A couple of things. Thank you to Indian Motorcycles and Law Tigers and Badlands, aka NAMS and Electric Lighting, for sponsoring Chopper History. And also, don't forget, guys, go over to our Instagram page, Perowitz_CycleFab, and give us a follow. We're constantly trying to do new stuff over there as well as live stuff. So if you're on Instagram, go to our Instagram page, Perowitz_CycleFab, and give us a follow. And all you guys local, don't forget, our first bike night is this coming Wednesday already, June 23rd, here in Halifax. So if any of you guys are local, come on down to our bike night.
Yeah, our bike night, this bike night is going to be a big one, I'm sure. So get here early. We'll have a food truck here. We'll have a band. And get here early so you can get a spot. Starts at 5:30, and it goes just until dark. Once it's dark, everybody's gone. So it's an easy, quick night, but you get to see all your friends and hang out, show your bike off, whatever you need to do. But, yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, so this coming Wednesday, all you guys here at our shop in Halifax. I see Justin already says I'll be there. Good. I hope a lot of you locals will all be here. So like I said, that's this Wednesday. Instagram. And also don't forget, if you guys want any of the Perowitz apparel, they sell it at Hot Leathers. So go to hotleathers.com and you can get the Perowitz sweatshirts, t-shirts. They have a lot of stuff, as well as they have this shirt that I have on right now. So this is the new girl shirt that I'll show you the back of it.
Okay, that's cool. But I have an Indian shirt on, but Hot Leathers doesn't sell Indian shirts.
Yeah, if you want an Indian shirt, go to Indian.
Yeah, right. Go to Indian.
And go test ride a motorcycle because Indian's a big supporter of us. So we support them, too, because we love their motorcycles. I'm going to be riding my Challenger up to Laconia today, as a matter of fact. So, all right. So today we are going to have Nick from FXR Bazaar. Let me just bring Nick on. Hey, Nick.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Nick.
Hey, Dave. How you doing?
Good.
Good. Well, I appreciate you guys inviting me on. I really, really appreciate it. What you guys do, and for the community and the scene. It's awesome. So I tune in pretty regularly, and stoked to hear what your guests have to say and the conversations that you guys have. So.
Well, so Nick, you got a new book out.
Yeah.
And
so wait, before we get to the book, let's talk about your Instagram page, because that's, I mean, to me, that's where you came into it was, DP and I love to scour your Instagram page.
Oh, totally. Yeah. So the page was kind of started just because for FXRs, looking for parts, new original stock or just original parts was really difficult. So there's a couple other trader pages out there that have FXRs, Dynas, maybe Softails. So it's difficult to kind of scour through those pages and look for just FXR stuff. So I started the FXR Bazaar, and it's taken off. Like, it's crazy. So you can find everything from bikes, parts, events, stuff like that. So, and if you're looking for something in particular, I also have like in search of posts. So if you're looking for whatever the miscellaneous part is that you need, Harley Davidson obviously doesn't carry it anymore because it's obsolete. So, the community is amazing. So I'm sure you guys have used the page or search for parts or whatever, and this community is wild because you'll have someone across the country. Oh, that's sitting on my shelf. Like I'll send it to you for free. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's funny. I follow it pretty much almost every day, and I see all the parts for sale, and I would say a good portion of whatever's for sale, I say, geez, I got 3 of them. I got 2 of those. I got a couple of those,
Oh, totally, yeah.
I know. I see it, and I'm like, man, that's a good deal. I should buy that. And it was only posted like 2 hours earlier, and it's already sold. It's already
yeah. If if it's a good deal, it's gone in minutes.
Yeah.
Guys have their post notifications on, so anytime I make a post, their phone goes off and they're seeing what's posted. So it's pretty cool. It's almost like it takes a little bit out of the hunt, but at the same time, you got to be quick. You got so
yeah, you definitely have to be on that to be able to get a deal or to get exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah, for sure.
I like looking at all the bikes for sale. I mean, there's a lot of FXRs for sale, and it's amazing how much they've gone up in price.
Oh, totally.
In the last year especially.
Yeah, and the parts too. I mean, even the fairings are going for like $2,000 now.
Oh, I know, it's crazy.
A complete, later RT fairings going for $2,000.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Yeah, especially, I mean, I've talked to Dave extensively, but you guys used to throw those things away because no one wanted them. You guys were
right.
It's just it wasn't in, it wasn't cool then, and I think that may be part of the reason why they're so sought after now, because now they're harder to find.
Yeah. Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And I'm always looking for FXR stuff, in my travels. And, we've actually in the last year or so managed to buy probably a half a dozen different FXRs and most of them were really, really good finds,
Yeah.
I just bought one a couple days ago. I bought a 91 FXRS convertible.
Yeah.
And, we drove to Connecticut and checked out the bike, and it was an original paint bike, and it was in really nice shape. But the guy had a lot of extras on it, PM brakes and, just all the little bolt-on stuff, which I'll probably take off. And so, I always ask, well, do you have any extra parts? Well, yeah, geez, I got these bags and I got this windshield. So he had all the original convertible stuff.
Yeah.
So
totally. And that right there is wisdom. A lot of people will be like, oh yeah, there's the bike. Okay, cool. Is the title good? Okay. And then you just leave with the bike. But that wisdom is where it really shines.
Know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, know what's supposed to come with it.
Yeah. When he said he had an old set of saddlebags, I'm thinking he had an old set of leather saddlebags or something. And then when he pulled them off the wall, I'm like, wow. And all the brackets and everything, I'm like, cool.
Totally. That's awesome.
So for those of you guys listening, we're talking about Nick's Instagram page, which is FXR Bazaar. If any of you guys are looking for FXRs or pots or any of that, go over and give Nick a follow. So that's his Instagram page, FXR Bazaar. And so let's talk about the book. So you just came out with the book, the Bazaar Book of FXRs.
Yep. Yeah. So it all kind of stemmed from me, just like my personality. I dig into everything that I'm into really deep. So when I was researching, I had a CHP that I was researching, like what the correct stuff was that goes on it, how the paint was done, the different nuances of, CHP even has different floorboards that are reinforced. A lot of people don't know that. There's a little, L piece of metal on the very rear side outboard. So that way, when you scrape the pegs, it's not scraping away just at the floorboards completely. Huh. So all this little stuff I'm researching, and on Facebook's a really good resource for trying to find information, because it's like a forum, anyone can post pictures or videos, stuff like that. But a lot of people have maybe misinformation, or they were told something and then that was taken as gospel and then spread.
They believed it
like wildfire. Yeah. Which is completely understandable. There was a guy that, for example, there's a 1984 FXR T that this guy, it is a rare paint job, but he said, oh, it's only one of 3 made. I was like, okay, that's kind of weird to have 3 made. And this is before I knew all the production numbers and everything. So I started researching, and it turns out that there was actually like 90 made. And I hit him up, hey, how'd you get that information? Oh, well, the guy selling me the bike at the dealership told me that there was only 3, right? So that may have been a ploy or misinformation that he got, or just a sales pitch, right?
Yeah.
But nonetheless, that information is out there. Oh, there's only 3, but I know of personally 5 now. So how could that be the case, you know? So anyways, I started researching a bunch of stuff, and then I just found myself in deep rabbit holes, started looking for the engineers that designed the FXR, you know, all the way back 1979, and I got a hold of them.
Is that when they started to design it? 79?
Yeah, that right around there.
And it didn't come out till 82.
Right. And so it was a bunch of, well, that's when the concept of the FXR came about. So
That's when they started designing the RT. I mean, the FLT.
FLT, yep.
Yeah.
And so that was going on back then. And so I found all those engineers and interviewed them. And I'm like, I'm doing all this work. I'm just going to put together a book. So I ended up, you know, deciphering all the VINs down to the color codes for each model, each year, each color.
Yeah, so those you guys, here's the book.
Yep. And there's two versions, that black one. And then I know that this red one is on Dave's nightstand at home.
It literally is. Because I told you before, I was like, oh, we'll use his book because it's red. And he's like, I don't have it here.
Totally. And just
I
for
brought
the,
it because I wanted to read it at home.
This is what a spreadsheet would look like. So that's a 1993 convertible, and it has all the production numbers down to the color code. So it's a super cool book. I put in a lot of work, and you know, got to talk to great people like yourself, Dave. You know, it was really cool hearing what it was like back then, kind of getting the you know, the full feel.
It's the Pero. It's the page with his interview.
Yep. And so hearing that, and then all of the information, the history behind the FXR from all the engineers, straight from the horse's mouth. Hey, how did this come about? Oh, that's not how it came about. And everyone thinks that, you know, just misnomers and misinformation. So yeah, I put a lot of work into it. There's that. It also deciphers kind of what years came with which decals, special editions, paint, stuff like that. So yeah, that's the book. And I have it up on my website. You can message me through the website. I don't have my store set up through the website, so everything's through DMs on Instagram or Facebook.
So if they go to the FXR Bazaar on Instagram, let me put that back up for them. So if you guys go to this and then send them a message on Instagram, you can buy the book. And now when we got these books the other day and I opened it up, I was like, wow, there is a lot of information in this book. Like, it's not like a picture book. Yeah. This is information.
Yeah. And when I pick up a book, I don't want to see a bunch of opinions and, you know, story time from myself. So pretty much, I think I use the word I maybe 3 times in here. You know, it's all facts. It's all
good
interviews. It's all factual information about FXR. So that's a big, you know, thing that I, you know, wanted.
I liked the section where you broke down the VINs.
Yeah.
Which I thought like was pretty cool because we have our manufacturer's license. So I VIN bikes. I VIN Pero what's custom bikes. So I know the breakdowns of, you know, like I know the 9th digit is a check digit, you know, and then the plant that it was made at is the 10th. You know, I know those and the sequential numbers. I can break down our VINs to a T. And I can almost tell you what a bike's VIN is just by looking at it, you know, other than the sequential digits. So this is pretty cool because it's a little bit different how Holly does it, or I guess a big manufacturer.
Yep.
But like even like that, that's pretty cool. So someone can just look at a VIN and know, you know, what year and stuff and where it falls.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And so it was really, you know, the book was made to be a reference for years to come. It's really the people that I would say that I'm probably the deepest of the people that I know into FXRs and like this type of stuff. You know what I mean? And so the community has helped me out a bunch in my research and stuff. And so that's kind of the reason why I put it out, is just so that way everyone has at least a basis of correct information instead of finding out false information. So
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a wealth of information. You know, I told you we just bought a '91 convertible, and so I couldn't wait to pull the title out and look up the numbers
Oh, totally.
and see how many of that particular one was made. You know,
Yeah.
and it was black, and I think there was like 400 or something.
Yeah. Yeah. The
That
black
color.
ones are definitely, you know, speaking to like Ray Dre, who worked for Harley Davidson, and he was he's actually he was a custom painter prior to, which you guys will appreciate, and he ended up working for Harley, and he did all the, you know, designs, the decal designs and stuff like that, and all the different colorways, him and Willie G. But the main colors were like black, red, blue. That was probably 3/4 of the meat and potatoes, like, of the production numbers. And then they had all these other obscure colorways that you'll see in there. There's one of one. You know, they pulled one aside and said, okay, we're gonna paint this one magenta with a lime green pinstripe. And that's Harley Davidson. That's, you know, a huge motorcycle manufacturer setting aside these bikes and saying, okay, this one's gonna be like this. This one is gonna be like this, which is crazy. And so part of me didn't even want to release the book because I'm still on the hunt. And if everyone else has they're
now
hunting
people are
too.
gonna know.
Yeah. So you know, I was kind of torn, you know, but I figured everyone should know. So
Do you know off the top of your head what the lowest production year was for FXR?
Production year, I don't.
Well, like they made the least amount?
You know, 84 and 85 seem like, you know,
Low numbers.
Lower total models, right? It was before the
So it's when it changed to an Evo.
Yeah, and so it might have
84.
been contributing to that, but there's a bunch of cool, at the very end, there's some cool facts where I decipher, or I got all the information on all the production numbers and put down like the rarest model, the rarest year and stuff like that. So the rarest production FXR is actually a 1990 CHP. So a lot of people don't know CHP had their own VIN.
That's right. I did know that. I just found that out, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. So that's
one just sold. Did you see that one sold? I don't know the person, but it's Spook on.
Yeah, Spookaloop. Yep.
Yeah, he just sold his for 25 grand.
Yeah.
And I don't even think it was original. I think it was a repaint.
Yeah, it was repainted and had
And
an
the
FS
motor
motor
was
in there.
built.
It was built really nice. Chris Harry put it together, and then Spookaloo put his little touches on it. It was a beautiful bike.
Yeah, but I mean, 25 grand's a good amount of money.
And that's the rarest one. That's a 1990. I have one right behind me. So this is the bike that I'm building for the West Coast Jam in Sturgis. Not numbers matching. It is a 1994 FXR P motor, which you guys might appreciate this little blast from the 90s diamond cut.
Oh yeah.
So there's a little sneak peek of what's going on. So I got a lot of work ahead of me still, but hopefully it'll be done in time.
Really cool.
Yeah, I like how before each year you told like a fact about that year.
Yeah, and it's because it's available, you know, like why not put little tidbits of information and stuff like that in there, you know?
Yeah, so like mine is a 93 convertible, and it was, so I looked up the one that we're building anyway. 93 had a 90th anniversary FXLR model. It's one, it has 1 year only colors.
Yep.
Boy, that would have been neat to have mine, but I don't know, my tin's out.
Yeah, if it was a convertible, it'll probably not.
Yeah.
Just because it was on the LR. But yeah, but 93 was 1 year that they had 1 year only paint. So sorry to make your viewers sick, but here's the 1993 1 year only paint.
Boy, that's a clean looking bike.
Yeah, it's called Bright Wineberry Sunglow. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And just kind of a rule of thumb that I've thought of, and some friends of mine, we think that like 1/3 of the bikes are original complete, numbers matching, because you figure,
Wow.
I mean, you figure they were wrecked, repainted, and then the last, third is left original. And so, like that one, for example, you could imagine the pink got painted over, who wants a
Yeah.
pink bike, especially back then, everyone wanted a black bike or, custom paint or whatnot. So, yeah, so I looked for that one for years, and a couple have popped up in the recent year, but I found that one from the original owner up in Washington. So,
Wow.
yeah,
Very cool.
So somebody asked, in which I know I listened to your podcast on Jace's The Fast Life.
yeah.
And I know you guys talked about this, but somebody just asked Mike, said, what are the challenges of getting a book like that published? And I know you had challenges.
Oh yeah, totally. So anyone outside of their niche or whatever, if you take on a new project, a lot of people, nowadays will YouTube something on how to get something like that done. Well, it was such a challenge. So you have the writing part, which was probably the easiest. And last paper I wrote was probably junior year of high school, plagiarized senior year, so, or just copied and pasted. But that was probably the easiest. And it was a challenge for me. But then even next, you have the whole design aspect, which I was thinking to myself, okay, I'll just kind of cut it and paste it. But there's so many details that you don't even know what you don't know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
where did you have it published?
so it was published out of Pennsylvania.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah. So I try to keep everything that I do American, in the U.S. So I mean, shirts printed here. I ship everything out myself. I'm a one-man show. So all the books, I print at the desk here, print out the labels, and the people at the post office hate me, but hey, here's this huge box of stuff, especially with the shirts. So, but yeah, there was definitely some challenges. And then from there, I really wanted this thing to feel regal, like when you're holding it, I wanted it to feel like on your fingertips, that this means something, substantial. So although it's not a super thick book, I feel like it's packed with information, from cover to cover. So
yeah, it's good information.
Absolutely.
And that's really what I wanted,
Yeah. Well, like Jody says, though, it's not about the pictures as much. It's about all the excellent information in there. If you're a real FXR guy, this is the book you want to have.
Yeah, totally.
It has all the real information that you always were wondering about.
Yeah, wondering about, or if you're, just getting an FXR and you want to know, what everyone else knows, or figure out what the basis is, like you're gonna get that and a lot more. So
yeah. Somebody asked, was Eric Buell on the FXR design team?
So he wasn't on the FXR design team. He came on later, and I don't want to give too much away because it's a pretty cool story and it is in the book. But he was brought on as a tester, testing the motorcycle at the track, and then because he was racing and stuff like that, and so he ended up joining the team just after the design, and he was a big influential player in the revamps of the design and strengthening the frame, which is known, the FXR is known to be the best handling Harley Davidson. So for years anyway. So
yeah. So once again, to all people listening and whatnot, this is the book, the FXR, the Bazaar book of FXRs, and they can get it on your page, which is, if they send you a message, the FXR Bazaar.
Yep.
Instagram. Here it is. Okay, so let's talk about the FXR Jam.
Yeah, so the Northern or California used to have FXRs of California, which was a big show in Sacramento at the Speedway there. They had drag strip, grudge racing, and stuff like that, and it was a huge show for all of us for years. And we'd all go there, that'd be like our place to show off FXRs. So some stuff happened that, maybe political, I don't even know the full story, but that ended up not happening. I think it was like this will be the third year, so 3 years ago. And so John Jessup and I and Dana, who ran the FXRs of California, got together and we're like, hey, we really need an event out here. We love seeing each other. You know, that's probably the one time that the Southern California guys come up and we all see each other, you know, the surrounding areas. And so we decided, you know, hey, let's put on an FXR jam. The East Coast has been doing it for years.
I didn't realize that East Coast did it first.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they were doing it for probably maybe 5 years prior, 4 years prior.
Well, yeah, because I think this was the 7th one.
Yeah.
It happened a couple weeks ago. And I was when you just said 3 years, I was thinking, oh, that can't be right. But okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
So they, and
that's
we
cool.
were
We
always
started
jealous.
a trend before you.
What's that?
We started a trend before you.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And so, which I'm okay with, you know, like we would always see the pictures of the East Coast Jam on Facebook or Instagram and just so jealous out here, you know, like we'd all, you know, have our little crews and go for rides and, you know, camp outs and stuff like that. But we were always jealous. And that first year that we had the jam, it's located in Gardnerville, Topaz. There's a lake in the back. So Topaz Lake in Gardnerville, Nevada. That was the first year, and it looks, you know, there's not as many people as that were there just because we did kind of an impromptu group photo. But it was so amazing having, you know, people that you only knew online, you know, through Instagram or social media,
Sure.
and then finally get to shake their hand and meet them and check out their bike and ride side by side with them. So the riding up there is amazing. The location is awesome. You couldn't ask for a better location. It's on the lake. Gas station on site, 2 hotels, casino, restaurant. It's a great time.
That's cool.
So, yeah.
So this was figure there was was there like 50 people at the first one?
Yeah, I'd say about 50. And then just like we saw the East Coast Jam, a lot of people that were on the West Coast were like, "What's going on? You know, I can't believe I missed this."
Yeah.
And so then they took, you know, the next year vacation days, and that was the second year.
Now it looks like probably 200.
Yeah. I lost count, but it was a huge amount of people, and all of those are FXRs. You know.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's probably the biggest group of FXRs in one place since they were made at the factory, which is pretty cool. You know. And so yeah, this year it's at the same location, the 15th through the 18th. So if you have an FXR. Yeah, there's a.
Yeah, so July 15th to the 18th.
Yep, at the Topaz Lodge. Yeah.
What's the city in Nevada?
Gardnerville.
Gardnerville. Okay.
Yeah. And so it's just across the border of California and Nevada. Figured it'd be a little less, a little more lawless. You know, just be able to be free. California's kind of has a lot of rules and regulations and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, Nevada's a little more lax in their in their rules.
For sure. So yeah, I'm hopefully gonna get this bike done, and that'll be my ride for it. So yeah, it should be a great time. The hotel's already sold out. There's surrounding hotels in the area, but it's huge.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and as soon as I announced the date, you know, I called the lady at the hotel, and she's like, "You didn't tell me that the phone was gonna ring off the hook for the next 12 hours." I was sitting here, I had to plug in another phone, have someone else answer to do reservations. So it's pretty cool to see how enthusiastic and how important this is to people, you know, to have people, you know, ride to this year. I'm promoting the Triple Crown, which has been around for a long time, and it kind of went to the wayside just because, you know, especially last year with COVID, you know, being able to travel across country was kind of unknown, what's open, what's not. And so, this year I was like, you know, people haven't done it for a while, and so I'm gonna, you know, put a little package together. I have a couple companies, you know, sponsoring, you know, oil change kit for anyone who completes it. So the East Coast.
So what is tell us what the Triple Crown is? Yeah,
so the Triple Crown is you go to the East Coast Jam, ride to the East Coast Jam, ride to the West Coast Jam, and then ride to the FXR show in Sturgis.
So do you know anybody that's I guess you only have one down, so you really can't.
Yeah, well, I do have, you know, people that have pledged to do it. That I think right now there's 4 that have like reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'm doing it," you know. So yeah, it'll probably end up being hopefully 4 or 5, maybe more people jump in, you know, find
That's
themselves
cool.
with an eye problem and can't see themselves going to work for a week or two and riding out to the West Coast from the East Coast or what have you, you know?
Yeah, well, it'd be perfect if somebody can ride out to the West. Well, could they do this? Ride out, if they're on the East Coast, ride to the West Coast, leave your bike or stay there, and then ride to Sturgis. Can you do
Totally.
that? You have to ride back home.
Well, you're riding to each event, right?
Okay.
And so, I mean, either way, it's a lot of riding. And this day
Yeah.
and age, a lot of people have jobs that you get maybe 2 weeks of vacation a year, you know?
Right.
And so some people make their own schedule. It's easier. But I can appreciate it either way. So yeah, it's a feat in itself, riding all the way across country and then, you know, riding halfway back and then riding home. So
Yeah, I mean, I know they got a pretty good crowd at the East Coast Jam, so hopefully
totally.
a couple of those at least will attempt it.
Yeah, I heard it was like one of the biggest years.
Yeah, the hotel,
awesome.
the resort that they stay at's a really cool kind of rustic resort, and it was packed.
Yeah, and seeing, you know, I talked to a couple guys that went and, you know, older guys in the community, and they said it was so great seeing new faces there that not only were like humble, willing to learn, but also coming from different facets of motorcycling where they bring in their own, you know, twist or their own, you know, people coming from sport bikes having a, you know, different setup, you know, than we normally see or whatnot. So
yeah, so it's all good. And so you also make a windshield. So tell us about your windshield.
Yeah, so I'm sure Dave has run many of these on his bikes, but this is a Ness Narrow Glide windshield or Ness Narrow Glide fairing that if you guys, I'm sure you guys are familiar, but a lot of the listeners. So the normal windshield, I have this here. You can kind of see. That's one of Dave's.
Oh, wait a minute, hold on. Let me pull that picture back down. Oh, sorry. Hold on.
That's one of Dave's old.
Good cover.
Yeah, that's
right.
Yeah,
just gonna say what Dave
if you look at the windshield there, it looks amazing, but it doesn't offer a ton of protection for the wind, right? So, you know, it was always,
they didn't care about that.
Yeah, totally, for sure.
They weren't riding across country.
Right.
Like that style is iconic, and you know, but always, you know, sitting around having beers or whatever, I'm thinking to myself, man, how cool would it be to have a functional windshield on that, you know? So I started like conceptualizing. I got a, you know, this movie poster, it's like a Lexan movie poster picture frame. Where I cut that out, kind of formed it, and then did some refining and had a company make them. And this is it here. And so it goes straight up with a little recurve at the top.
Cool.
And so, yeah, that bolts right on. And this is, the Ness fairings are pretty thin and kind of flimsy. And so this is actually thicker than the fairing itself. So it gives it more stability as well. So,
yeah. Hey, Nick, you want to know some history on that magazine cover you just showed us?
Does a one-legged duck swim in a circle?
show that cover again.
Yeah.
Okay, that bike was my good friend Dave Sylvia, and I don't remember exactly what year we built it, but that was a Ness rubber mount frame.
Yep.
And we were getting ready for Sturgis. We were building that bike for Sturgis, and we were back then. I mean, we'd work 4 or 5 days straight. You know, with little or no sleep, and we'd have 2-3 bikes that we had to get done. And Dave built that bike basically out of my picnic table outside my old shop.
No way.
Yeah. And
but
anyways,
you don't have enough lift space.
Yeah. We got it done. And he took that. We went to the Redwood Run with that bike.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, we were finishing
Did you sell it?
We were finishing it, and we took it to the Redwood Run, and Dave rode it, you know, up from Ness's place.
Yep.
Up to the
in
Redwood.
San Leandro at the time, right?
Yeah. And then we ended up leaving it there, and it went to LA, and it was put in a bike shop in LA for sale. And a guy bought it like right away from Indonesia.
Wow.
Yeah. So it got shipped out of the country.
Never seen it since.
Gone.
Yeah, and he sold that bike for 25 grand, which was, believe me, that was all the money.
Yeah. Oh,
What year
totally.
was that?
I would say that had to be the early 90s, maybe 93, maybe.
This is September of 1990 in the magazine. So.
Oh, 90?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then it was a little earlier than that. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, and it's amazing the amount of detail that you guys put into that one. It's awesome. So, yeah, that's what and it's coming back. Like all that style is kind of, that's what I grew up looking at in magazines and stuff like that. So, this bike here will be kind of an ode to the 90s. Kind of a hot rod bike that looks fast and goes fast. So.
Yeah,
that's cool. It seems like FXRs now are more functional than
totally.
Like the low, long, stretched FXRs. Whereas like I want mine tall and windshield.
Yeah, and I think it's because that's what they were really made for.
True.
And although they look great, lowered and stretched out, I mean, they're made to handle too, so I really feel like the FXR is one of the most versatile platforms. You can have it low and long, high and tight, and even as a tourer, with the RTs and RP bags and aftermarket stuff going on nowadays. It's like you could dress that thing up 100 different ways.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool how much information you have about FXRs, and this is all stuff you probably had to get kind of firsthand from different people and doing some serious research because, like you said, there's so much false information out there.
Totally.
And this isn't something you can ask Suri.
No.
Google.
I got it. Can you show this picture?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, here.
Well, you just told.
Yeah.
Sorry,
somebody just sent me this picture.
Yeah, totally. I love
that was a good
one.
Too.
That was on the cover of Street Chopper magazine, Hot Bike magazine, sometime in the 90s, I think.
Such a good classic, like even the girl.
I know.
And like the girl on that one, the cover you just showed me, like, wouldn't you love to know what she looks like now?
I know. And
I don't think you'd want to know.
Yeah. Yeah. So
she still has a curly mullet.
Oh, for sure. But I still look at those magazines, and look for inspiration. I mean, even the windshield, in reality, it's an aftermarket for an aftermarket part.
Yeah, right.
It's innovation of innovation. So, it's that type of stuff that I feed on, and I think a lot of other FXR guys, look at that stuff too, and kind of get an inspiration. So
yeah, I mean, we used a lot of those fairings on FXRs back in the day.
Yeah,
and we used to even cut the windshields even shorter.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah, and you see it all the time, and the fairings reshaped and stuff like that. So yeah, it's cool. Mine on this one it's trimmed down almost to nothing. Like bare minimum, just to have the windshield on there, look good and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm stoked. And so the other part that they're getting finished up now is it's a rear fender strut that it kind of looks like that Chopper guy's swing arm with the full cutouts.
Yeah.
The billet welded swing arm. And so I thought to myself, when we're switching bags, for example, on an FXR, everything's got to line up. You can only use certain bags with certain struts. And so I thought to myself, like, why deal with that? Why not have a strut that you can change the shock position from the front to the rear at any point? It has both holes, both cutouts, and be able to run it with any bag. So that's essentially what I my concept was. And I talked to a buddy who's bike builder and machinist and stuff, and so he is well versed in CAD, and he drew it up. And so those will be the next things coming. So hopefully, they'll be on this bike for sure. Another buddy's doing a FXR chopper that he'll have the other first set to kind of prototype and make sure everything fits and everything, and then that'll be available too.
That's cool. I might have to get some for my 93.
Yeah.
Do you have any fender wheels for yours?
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. I don't think we do because the ones I have won't work with the bags, with the way the shocks
that's right. You got to use
Yeah.
those funky early ones.
Yeah.
So it's a pain in the ass, right? Like
So I need a ton of those, Nick.
Yeah. So, it's all that little stuff, you know, that just, you know, you sit in the garage and like, oh, this is a pain in the ass. I wish it wasn't a pain in the ass. And then you don't make it a pain in the ass, you know?
Yeah.
And so just like, I mean, you guys have been doing it for years, you know, making life easier or making it look good, you know? So, yeah, that's kind of what like the inspiration is for me, you know?
It's almost like back in like the 80s and 90s, though there wasn't an aftermarket world, so you couldn't buy it. You had to make it work, and it wasn't like now. You're like you said, the struts are a pain to have to switch them and stuff. So you're just gonna make a pot to make your life easier for people today. You know, back then they didn't do that. They made it work themselves, and that was it. They weren't making it for other people.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I'm trying to make them, you know, look good. Like I said, my inspiration is kind of that 90s feel. And so they'll have full cutouts so you can see the color, you know, of the rear fender behind, you know. And I'm sure someone will, you know, there's, you know, 3 holes. I mean, airbrush FXR in those holes, or, you know, like whatever it is, you know, your area code or whatever, just to be a little, you know.
508.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and I do have a question for a couple questions for you guys, if that's okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
What's your plan for your FXR, Jody? Give us a little rundown.
It's a 93. I'm making it an RT, you know, with clamshell bags, RT fairing, and it's got a twin cam in it.
Yep.
You know, we did a bunch of other stuff to it to you know, make it cool, but I'm really pushing to have it done for Sturgis.
Yeah.
I actually just ordered my paint for it.
Okay.
So, which, believe it or not, that was such a hard decision. I went back and forth for like a week straight on what colors to pick, but now it's kind of locked down. I don't have a choice, so I can't go back. Can
you disclose that, or is that?
I will, because what the heck? Creamsicle.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's going to be two-toned. And creamsicle is the color. And actually, let me go grab one of my covers, the Cerakote.
Okay, and it's a 95-inch twin cam with a 6-speed.
Nice.
And you know, we warmed the motor up, and you know, did cams and a few other things. And it's got Lindell billet wheels and Lindell rotors, PM calipers.
Awesome.
And you know, we're going to put a Dyna tank on it.
Okay.
And it is going to be carbureted. We would kind of toss it around whether we're going to do fuel injected or carbureted, but I think we're going to end up doing carbureted.
Yeah.
We use a Trask 2-into-1 exhaust.
Awesome.
Yeah, stainless pipe. So this is Crazy Customs just did all this Cerakote. So it's kind of a cool color. It's
totally.
Put it closer so you can see the color.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's neat. It's like a bronze-ish gold.
That'll look good with the orange and white too.
Yeah.
Are you going like off-white cream, obviously?
No.
Bright white.
No.
Brightest white?
No white.
No white. Oh, okay.
No white.
You said two-tone cream.
Well, I'm gonna two-tone it, but I'm not gonna two-tone it with white. I'm gonna two-tone it with another color.
Okay.
And the orange isn't the color is called creamsicle.
Okay.
But it's not.
It's not real bright.
It's not like a creamsicle popsicle.
Okay.
Not like that.
That's what I had in my mind. Yeah.
I know. It's like it's a deeper orange.
Okay.
But you'll just have to wait and see for Sturgis.
Yeah. Hope to see it in person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The challenge is on.
Yeah.
We're using a 49mm front end.
Cool.
Dual disc. Legends, shocks.
Yeah. So.
And Legends cartridges in the front.
Nice.
You know, and we use a lot of Russ Wernemont stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of Russ stuff, but Russ's shocks won't work.
Yeah, as a matter of fact,
with the clamshell bags.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
those the Legends. Yeah, and it's tough because you know, again, another pain in the butt. You know.
My fenders. So here's my front fender from Russ Wernemont.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
And that's for the 49. I see mid glide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so I'll use his his fenders.
Yeah.
So I just got the LSR hand controls.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, I just got those the other day. So I'm starting to like really accumulate stuff And I know
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing is you go to put it
Totally.
together and you're like missing
I-
stuff. So
Oh, totally. I'm at that stage now where I'm like, okay, where's this part? I don't even have that part. I need to find one. You know, so it's
Well,
one
you
of those
know,
things.
I mean, we can build a bike really fast if you have all the parts.
Oh, totally.
But unfortunately, you never have all the parts.
No.
At least we don't.
yeah,
Yeah.
it never
As,
works
as
out.
much as stuff, as much as we do have here, which we have a lot, there's always something that holds it up.
And it's
And-
even worse when you think that you have something. Like I went to go
Right.
button up this primary last night. Went and grabbed the shift shaft. I'm like, there's a Dyna shift shaft. Why is this in here? And now I don't have a shift shaft, so now I'm searching for a shift shaft.
Yeah, you know, and fortunately, we don't have to. We're never held up by paint because we do it all here, which is usually one of the biggest holdups for people.
Yeah, painters, I feel like are like drummers sometimes. You know, like they're a necessity, and they don't answer their phone sometimes. You know, like at least out here, that's it's difficult because
yeah,
they're
we
the
do that
ones
too sometimes.
No, we don't. We always answer the phone.
True, we do always answer the phone, but
but
I play a game sometimes.
Yeah, totally, and I totally get it. You know, but yeah, it's nice to be able to do your own stuff for sure, and I feel like one of the big things, at least for me, is getting that message across, right? So I'm sure there's a lot of builders out there that have, the concepts or the idea behind their bike and what they want it to look like, but being able to convey that to you guys and then have you guys interpret it correctly on that feel of the bike, or I kind of want this thing to go like this. And I'm sure there's some people that say, I don't care, make it look cool, make it look fast, make it look flashy, or not. And then there's other people that are so particular, like, I want this to be a 1/4 inch the whole way, like, I'm sure.
Yeah, fortunately, we don't have a lot of people that tell us exactly what they want. Most of the people give us a direction, and we just follow through with the direction. That's what I require people, just to give me a direction for the most part.
Yeah, which is nice because then you have the creative freedom, to put in lines, or if they give you a color or whatnot, you just work with that color and a couple contrasting colors for pop, and then some complementary colors to kind of shade around.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So cool. And then Dave, this one's for you. How did it work with the signature parts back then? With all these big manufacturers, I know that like you had let's say rocker box covers and stuff like that. Did they reach out to you, or did you reach out to them? Like I just I see this stuff and I'm searching all the time for all the rare stuff and different covers and cool parts. And I was always wondering, did they come to you and say, hey, we'd like to put your name on this, or a partnership like that?
Well, back in the day, no, it was all me, but it was a nightmare. I mean, It was absolutely a nightmare. We started, I started working with Boyd Coddington, back in the early 90s. And we did a line of wheels. We did 6 different wheel designs. I partnered up with a guy named Bobby Sullivan, who was a helmet guy. And Bobby was a great, great guy to deal with. He's local, and him and I were good friends. And Bobby, man, he did nothing but went first class.
Yeah.
So we decided to do this Perowitz line of wheels. And we didn't sell one wheel until we had, I want to say we had probably $1 million worth of inventory before he would sell one wheel.
Wild.
And then we sold wheels like gangbusters.
Yeah.
And then the shit hit the fan.
Yep.
We started having comebacks, and Boyd's quality was terrible. And I mean, it turned into a nightmare. But then you go on to the covers, especially the rocker boxes.
Yeah.
The rocker boxes we did, I kind of worked with a couple different people to design those rockers. Yep. The original rockers were actually made by Little John Butera. Do you know who he is?
No.
Okay,
I'm sure if I see.
Yeah, Little John Butera was an unbelievable craftsman. He was from LA, and he built Indy cars, he built hot rods, and he was a lot of the design behind Boyd's stuff. He built Boyd's first wheels.
Okay.
And so I worked with Little John, and so we started. I took on, I started doing the rockers myself.
Right.
So I farmed them out to a guy in LA who started making them, and we would make 50 sets at a time. And you know who Nigel Patrick is?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Nigel started buying like 20 at a time to put on his motors, his billet
Right.
motors. So it would take, oh my God, it would probably be 3 or 4 months to get an order of them.
Right.
I wouldn't have them for more than a couple of weeks and they'd be sold out. So
Wow.
then I'd do them again. And so I had 50 sets made. They were all chromed, done, and they were machined wrong.
Oh no.
I mean, they were junk. They weren't fixable.
Paperweights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I move on to a guy in Manchester, New Hampshire, Joe, Motorway. Have you ever heard of Motorway?
I haven't.
Okay, Motorway makes a lot of products. He
Okay.
does a lot of private label stuff, and he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Well, I go through the same thing. I wait months and months. I got people calling me, "Where's my rockers? Where's my rockers?" He gets me 50 sets. They're gone out the door. So now he's making the second 50. Same thing happens again.
Rough.
I get 50 sets that are not usable.
Wow.
At that point, I gave up.
Yeah. Oh,
It
totally.
was just too much aggravation.
Yeah. Why would you continue? Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, the other stuff, the other billet covers I had made locally, and they were good.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't much trouble. And then I had a whole line of ABS stuff done. And I was dealing with a guy, actually a company that was up in Northern California, a big ABS company. And we did really, really well with them.
Right.
And, you know, we kind of sold that stuff, stretched air cleaner covers and dashes and
Coil covers.
Yeah, coil covers. We sold that stuff for quite a few years. And then, you know, it kind of lost momentum. But to go back in the real early days, in the late 70s, we were doing engraving.
Yeah.
And we had a whole line of anodized engraved pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And from 1979 to 81, I had 4 full-time engravers working for me.
Wow.
That's what you need on your FXR, on your
Yeah.
throwback. That you need some engraved stuff.
Yeah.
And so we were doing stuff for Drag Specialties and Mustang and a whole bunch of big companies. They'd ship us pallet loads of parts.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right,
yeah.
there you go.
Yep.
It's
so
too
that's-
bad that derby cover wasn't a little more
Right.
visible. That's like your typical.
yeah. And
Right.
it's just for I'll try to cover up the chi-chis so we don't get censored, but
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah.
So then a guy came to me, a guy named Kurt Von Scooten. You know who he is?
I don't.
Sumax.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
And he says, "Hey, you need a catalog." And I said, "Yeah, that'd be cool." He says, "Well, listen, I'll come to your house. I'll spend a weekend and we'll make a catalog." I said, "Okay, great." So he did, right? 6 months later, he came out with his own catalog and copied every product I made.
Ugh.
And, you know, my products were way better than his.
Yeah.
But, no, it wasn't my first priority. I was painting bikes, building
Yeah.
bikes.
But
And
how
so-
frustrating is that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and back then there's really nothing you could do. You
Yeah.
know, you didn't sue or anything, and you didn't have probably patents or copyrights or any of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
There
you
was-
know, so, you know, when you make a product, when you have a product line, you know, you got to put a lot of effort into it.
Totally.
And you have to continually, you know, make it a priority.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't a big enough priority for me.
Yeah.
Well, I had too many other things going on.
Totally
And,
understandable. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's tough. It's very difficult.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Hence why we don't have any products at the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
We
Well, you
only
guys are
have
your products,
t-shirts.
you know? Yeah, you have an endless supply of products, you know? You're always painting and fabricating and stuff like that. So
Yeah, we do one of a kind products.
there you
Right.
go. Perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's really cool to hear. You know, it's one of those things where, you know, I've seen them in the past on, you know, eBay or whatnot, and I always wanted to hear the story behind them, you know?
Well, it's all
Yeah.
collector's items now.
Yeah, totally. Well, it sounds
Yeah.
like those rocker boxes will be expensive paperweights, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So
We
I'll
probably
stay away from
still
those.
have some.
Yeah, I got a couple sets that I've
Yeah.
got stacked for special
He
projects.
saves everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Nick. Well, we don't want to take up too much of your day. And everybody that is listening, go check out Nick's book, The Bazaar Book of FXRs. If you have an FXR or any kind of FXR enthusiast, this is the book. If you go to his Instagram page, the FXR Bazaar, it's FXR_Bazaar on Instagram. You can message him to buy the book. Also, don't forget he has this cool windshield available for the Nest fairing. So any of you guys looking to buy, sell, get some information on FXR, go over to this page and give him a follow. It's definitely a great resource. And I think that's it.
Yeah. Nick, I got to say it again. You did a great job on this book, man. I love it.
That means a ton coming from you guys, you know? Like I said, I put my heart and soul into it, and hopefully we'll be able to use it as a reference for years to come, you know?
Oh, yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. I look forward to it.
cool. And I really appreciate all the hard work that you guys have put in and continue to put in. And yeah, I'll be tuning in to the next week.
Very cool. Well, thank you very much for coming on today, Nick. We
All right,
appreciate
thanks,
it.
guys.
Hey, I hope we see you in Sturgis.
I'll be there.
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
Come to our paint show.
Yeah, come and
All
look
right.
us up.
Sounds
All
good.
right.
See you
Later,
guys.
Nick.
Bye,
Bye.
Nick.
All right, guys. So that was our show for today. Don't forget, this coming Wednesday is Perowitz Bike Night here in Halifax at our shop. We have a food truck band. It's always a good time. I'm sure we're going to get a really good crowd. So make sure you come by. And don't forget to check out our Instagram page, Perowitz_CycleFab. Give us a follow. Go comment, like, share, all that. And we will be back next Thursday for another episode of Chopper History, brought to you by Indian Motorcycles, Law Tigers, and Badlands. So thank you guys, everybody, for tuning in.
Okay, thanks. We'll see you next week, hopefully at Bike Night.
Yes, Wednesday night.